Watching the sun come up.
This is the song that made me want to write music. Step out the front door like a ghost into the fog. No one notices the contrast of white on white. In between the moon and you, angels get a better view of the crumbling difference between wrong and right. I walk in the air between the rain, through myself and back again. Where? I don't know. Maria says she's dying. Through the wall I hear her crying. Why? I don't know. Round here, always stand up straight.
I have this tiny little peninsula of beach that River and I have been using to throw and play fetch on. And still water pictures. I mean, doesn't get better than still water pictures, right? Plus, it's freezing. It was 32 degrees last night, 34 degrees last night. So, can't ask for. And right now, it's only not even 41, 42. So, it's cold. We got the heater running. It's going to be nice when the sun comes up, though. 50 degrees today and sunny. Okay. Okay. I think Cricket's gonna take a nap. This guy's been asking for, you want to go for a boat ride? You want to go for a boat ride? He's been asking to do something. Oh, okay. Okay. So we're going to go somewhere. It's nice and sunny, but it's one of those windy days that simply, coming out of the north, it's cold wind and it's no fun. We moved here yesterday. Last night was a beautiful night's sleep. The water came up about 6 inches overnight, so we are going to go back in that. There's a really shallow area back there, but now that it's got enough water, we're going to try to get through. Oh, doesn't that just look perfect? I love this spot. So this is normally too shallow to drive your boat through, but we're going to try to make it through because it's so high right now. The Tennessee Valley Authority, TVA, does 2 washouts in spring, every spring, and a washout is basically they bring the water really high and then they let it drop again, and that just washes out any trees. By the way, we might hit some trees. There's a couple of dry, low spots, so I'm not going fast. And this is one of them. And what it does, all the debris sitting on the beaches everywhere is picked up and moved into the waterway. Now, I don't know where it ever ends up or if they take it out or what have you, but I know that's what's happening every time they do that double fill here. So right now, to get back to the houseboat, you would have to go all the way that way and then cut around and run the shore on that side all the way down and then across the other side of that island. So this summer, when the water's high for the whole time, like it won't, right now this water's going to drop in like a week for them to have the logs all push out. But in the summer, I'm going to spend a lot of time in here. This is a cool spot to tie up. Imagine this is all water. You just tie up and there'd be nowhere to go. Oh, look, there's a boat. Or something. Yeah, that's an upside down boat, I'm pretty sure. Should we see if we can salvage it? You know how many snakes are going to be in that damn boat? I'm not even going to try it. Forget it. That's not even fun. I'll come back here in a month. I'm going to go see if there's any big holes. I mean, what if it is just a working boat and it got pulled away from a dock and turned upside down? Do I get to just claim it and have it? Or do I have to look up the numbers and figure out the owner? Hey, what are you doing? dog thinks he's gonna get on this boat. Get down! It's all water. There's no land here, you idiot. River, come here. You stay. Don't even think about it. Oh, there's some kind of animal. Stay. There is... Someone came and took the... There's no real motor on it. But it's a really big boat. It goes underwater a lot. Look at it. Like, it goes underwater another foot. I don't even know if I could tip this thing over myself. I'm gonna send a picture of it to my buddy. I sent a picture of that to my buddy. I'm gonna see what he says. If he's like, yeah, there's hundreds of those. You're gonna find them, right? Or if he's like, oh, that's a good boat. Let's pull it out. You know, I'll see. So everything you're looking at right here is water overflow. This doesn't, when I stick a paddle in the ground, it's less than 4 feet. It typically runs between 2 to 8 feet deep. And I'll show you on the map, but basically this is the east side of the water overflow. Then there's a creek that always has water. Then there's the Tennessee River. Then there's another creek, which happens to be Roberts Creek we saw last week. And then there's another water overflow. So the Tennessee River, when you look at it from the sky, is extremely, not only wide, but very much, it's got a snake in the middle and all these little overflow places everywhere. And this overflow is as wide as the river itself. So it kind of gives you an idea of where you could be with this. There will be no boat in here that ends up hitting your houseboat if you anchor or something. You could anchor anywhere here and it would not be considered you're in the way of anyone. And look, there's miles of it. Just miles and miles of it. I personally follow the 14 and 28 day rules. There are different states, the BLM versus the National Forest. BLM allows you to do 28 days in like desert areas without moving. I would never leave my houseboat in a spot unless it was necessary, like if I landed and was on dry land or something, for more than 14 days in Tennessee. All this land here is state forest and national forest, and those are the rules. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't places that you can't go, but when you see a sign, and I promise you, you look it up, you'll see what I'm talking about. When you see a sign that says National Forest, authorized personnel only, if what you're doing is taking photographs of nature, you are 99% of the time an authorized person. So, me being a nature photographer, YouTube channel person, I'm not a hunter, so I don't need to show a permit. I'm on land, basically just documenting animals, which when you go on the national website, that's an activity that's allowed in almost every single park. The only cutoff is they kick you out at nighttime sometimes, but they can't kick you off the water at night. That just means don't go put all your stuff on the island. I mean, really, if you follow all the rules, you'd have your everything at the below the high water mark all the time, and you're not considered on the island at all. But otherwise, follow their rules. Go every 14 days and move, and then you can camp anywhere on a place that doesn't have posted signs. So yeah, so it's real easy to find a nice, cozy spot to tuck up and get out of the wind, but you're still watching. Look how beautiful this is. I can't get over it. All the green's coming back. This whole area you can kayak in. You could kayak here the whole time. There's also, what's the type of boats? So there's like, if you take a John boat and you put a water-cooled motor with a long prop on the back, or a jet, you can get through here year-round. And a lot of this is a hatchery, so a lot of people fish back here. but you're going through 6 inches of water, so you have to have a very special type of boat. When people have a boat that the motor is completely on the boat and it's not in the water, and they can pull it out and rev the propeller as they coast through really shallow water, that the way they get away with that is that it actually has coolant in it. It's not using the lake water for coolant, so it doesn't matter whether it's in the water or not when it's running. And all my motors use lake water to cool it, so if you run it with it out of the water for even a minute, you're going to hurt the motor. So, meaning it sucks in lake water, runs it around the motor, and shoots out lake water to make the motor not explode. Well, seas, it wouldn't explode. So this tree is so beautiful, but I got to get it without the backdrop. I'm going to see if I can get a really cool picture of this tree. You see there's flowers right there, so the tree is, I don't know if I can get around it. Let's see what we can do. Maybe under it, shooting up to the sky. Right now, you probably don't even see how cool this tree is, but it's all alone in the middle of the water by itself. Look at that. I gotta get a picture of it.
The corner of the night, the warm of your hands hold, held in your arms, the hole in my head grows whole.
You see how that dogwood tree is flowering? I was talking to my buddy the other day, and I worked in a nursery for a long time where we grew trees, and basically you could tell what time of year it was because the red buds would start first, and then a couple of the crabapple trees would flower, and then the dogwoods would flower, and then you just kind of knew when spring was happening, and they had their own little cycle. And I hadn't thought about it for a long time. Ever since I stopped working there, I actually almost immediately stopped remembering what tree looked like what, because you're just not around it every day. And my neighbor was like, out of nowhere, which I gotta tell you, I don't know exactly what he does or where he comes from or anything. My actual right next door neighbor, David. But I never really thought of him as like a plant person. I really didn't know anything they did. But he sure, yesterday, listed off the exact order of how everything blooms. And okay, well, he's like, oh, we're at dogwood time. And he went through the whole list, and I was like, I guess dude must have worked at a farm or something. And I don't know, it was just strange to go back to that point. I have had strange advice from random people where you're like, it makes sense, that makes sense, and you never thought it would come from them. Like, you just don't know enough about them to know it. One of my brother's best friends that I knew my whole life, gave me the world's best advice when I was going through a breakup. He was like, and I swear this dude had done so many drugs that you just don't listen to him most of the time. He's such a, like, every word takes so long to come out of his mouth that you just can't focus on it anymore. And he was like, you can't make someone love you, no matter how much you try. You just can't make them love you. If they don't love you, you're never going to make it happen. Just move on. And it was so cool. And he was so right. He was so right. And it was just like, from now on, I don't care what kind of person they are. If they think they have some good advice to tell me, I listen to it. That's a cypress log that's already debarked from the water. That could be a really cool piece. I'm gonna get my chainsaw. That's pretty cool.
Free fall, it's called free fall. Crying to the devil and the devil say, hey, why you been calling this late? It's like 2 a.m. and the bars all closed. He dead in hell, it's a rule I made. Anyway, you say you're too busy saving everybody else. You save yourself and you don't want no help. Oh well, That's a story to tell. Like you can let it all go. You can let it all go. It's called free fall. It's called free fall. You can let it all go. You can let it all go. This ain't shit free but falling off. That shit's easy. Let me show you how it's like.
Hey, River.
Ain't shit free but falling off. That shit's easy. Let me show you how it's like.